I visited the pyramids of ancient Egypt and I was so blown away I forgot where I was, says writer Joel Day. We're standing high up on a ledge of the Great Pyramid of Giza overlooking the sprawling city of Cairo. The air is still, the lights in the city are quiet, and our guide Mona tries to talk to a hawker at the entrance, but he's too busy on his phone. Let's just go inside, she says. We walk through the often claustrophobic halls and tunnels of this monument, the only surviving wonder of the ancient world, its intricate and detailed brickwork blowing me away as we ascend a set of stairs inside, careful not to trip over one of the stray cats wandering around. Mona leads us inside a nondescript room, but one which displays great feats of engineering that would be admired even today, deployed some 4,500 years ago by Pharaoh Khufu, one of ancient Egypt's most mysterious rulers, whose vision became the image of a great civilization. Things are going great and Mona knows much about the ancient world, but her torch breaks and she leaves me in the room alone with a backup light in search of a replacement. But the backup breaks and out of the darkness appears a giant, glowing and speaking cat who says her name is Bastet. And for a moment everything is too much and I wonder, how did I get here? He says. Of course, a giant, glowing and speaking cat is not really in the room. And to let you in on the secret, I'm not really in the room either. After the initial shock, I remember I can easily take the virtual reality VR headset off. And before my eyes is the room I walked into about 10 minutes ago, a huge space with black and white stripes on the walls that aid the sensors in my headset. I'm standing not thousands of miles away in Cairo, but in the heart of Stratford at the new IMEX exhibition, Horizon of Khufu, a spectacular journey through ancient Egypt, and the land of the pharaohs, complete with cutting-edge VR technology that with the most advanced headset tracking system in the world really makes me feel as though I am there. And when you're in that VR world, your mind takes over and you really do forget where you are and who you are. Carl Blake Garcia, 33, the Experience's London director, tells me, we walk and talk and I'm stunned by how fast the process is, from entering through the front door to putting my belongings in a locker to having a VR headset and backpack fitted onto my head and back in the space of 10 minutes. And as Carl makes sure my headset is in place, he says, I'm free to take it off at any point in case I get motion sickness or dizzy, such as is its accuracy and immersion, and before I know it, I'm thrust into a fictional calibrated world to get me used to the reality that will last for the next 45 minutes. And after exploring the Giza Pyramid and the initial wobble with Mona's torch, she returns to find me with Bastet, who she tells me is the goddess of ancient Egyptian religion. She is now our guide, and we're privy to unfettered access to not only relics in our world, but the mythological realities of hers. And we glide across space and time and see how the ancient Egyptians built their monuments, what they worshipped and why, as well as peculiar quirks and the odd debunking of modern-day facts about Egypt. And after a time, a giant ghost ship arrives and Bastet tells us, much to Mona's fear, that we are on a course for Duat, the ancient Egyptian afterworld or underworld, a place in which they believe most people reach in death, especially the great pharaohs like Tutankhamun, King Tut that is, and Akhenaten. And the journey is spellbinding, and Carl is right. At times I forget who I am and where I am, and I simply bask in the ancient splendors all around me, free to look around as the ancient Egyptian world unfurls before my eyes. This manifests in several ways in various points. On one occasion, my hands clam up as we float through the sky. In another, I find myself carefully treading the floor, aware of the varying gradients, keen not to fall over, only to realize that the floor in my world is still flat. I'm glad there are a few people there to see me humiliate myself, apart from a chuckling Carl in the corner, and there's little, if any, reason for him to worry about my falling over or bumping into another user or even a wall. The technology used scans everyone participating in the experience at the same time, so you can see one another when getting close to the VR world, and sensors in the walls make themselves known in the virtual world if you get within even 10 steps of them. And if all else fails and you get lost, a glowing beacon appears and redirects you to Mona and Bastet. The world is vast and entirely immense. Some 1,000 square meters of free reign, and towards the end of my journey, I'm in for a treat, one that Mona cannot believe we're about to experience. Her excitement grates on Bastet, and the goddess quite comically tells her off and orders her to keep her cool. She doesn't want to be embarrassed in front of the ancient Egyptian elite. The final encounter is quite literally otherworldly, and Mona can't believe her eyes, but I'll leave that one for you to find out for yourselves. We've traversed several eras in time and vast planes of space, and I wonder just how long it took to create such a world in which the user has complete freedom to explore. Carl smiles and says, "It took us just a year and a half to make everything. That's with all the tracking markers inside the experience for everything to be laid out and done." The horizon of Khufu is different to many, if not all other VR experiences, in that it has not only been developed by gaming experts or software engineers, but also leading Egyptologist Peter der Manuelian from the Giza Archive Project at Harvard University. And it really does show. It's both fun and educational, the perfect day out for a family or a couple, or even an alternative to a boozy night out with your friends. The VR experience itself has locations all around the world, including Lyon and Shanghai, with more openings in Paris, London, New York soon. When the experience ends after 45 minutes, I realize the potential of this vast immersive world. Earth has thousands of years of history, much of it ancient and well documented, but only in the two-dimensional version of text and video. Think about the reigns of the ancient Maya and the Incas, the vast forgotten plains of the ancient US, the lost dynasties of China, the great kingdoms of Africa, the construction of Stonehenge and other megaliths around the UK. Think even of the world's numerous underwater cities, some of which date from ancient Rome and Greece. All of these places have been lost or are difficult to get to, but with VR, the potential is endless. A smirk grows across Carl's face once again, and though he's careful not to tell me too much, he says, "We're looking at considering other spaces, and people keep asking us, what's next?" The plan is to release different content in the future, possibly as soon as March next year. The possibilities are truly limitless, he said. And this is from Express UK by Joel Day and his experience about virtual reality in ancient Egypt. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.